All right, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the American Family Insurance Dream Bank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. My name is Jenna, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you who are familiar with Dream Bank, welcome back. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, let's shift the focus from DreamBank and myself to the highlight of today's event. It's my honor to introduce our esteemed speaker, Steve Ent. Steve knows what it takes to overcome adversity. He had it all. The popular kid in school, the star athlete, he was invincible, or so he thought. At the age of 25, his life took a dramatic turn when a drunk driving car crash changed him forever. After hours of surgery and days in a coma, he woke up to learn that he was paralyzed from the waist down and would never walk again. Confined to a wheelchair, Steve was faced with the challenge of learning how to live again. He was also faced with a decision: lose the battle to his disability or accept what had happened and realize that he needed to lead a life of educating and impacting others. He chose the latter. Nothing was going to hold him back. After 17 years of experimenting with many different adaptive sports, Steve was introduced to the sport of curling. He instantly fell in love with the sport. Through hard work, commitment, and dedication, Steve earned a position on Team USA in the winter of 2014 and has remained with the team ever since. To date, Steve is a 10-time US national champion, has competed in 8 World Championships and 2 Paralympic Games. Since his life-changing crash, Steve has educated, mentored, and motivated people of all ages all over the country. He shares his formula for success in empowering people to believe in themselves and become the hero of their own lives. Welcome, Steve. We're delighted to have you with us. The stage is yours.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to do a little speaker check because I do have a booming voice. I know that, so I don't want to blow anybody's ears out. So welcome. Thank you to American Family and Dream Bank for allowing me to spend some time with you all this afternoon, this beautiful Wisconsin afternoon, and share my story and just a little bit of my life and what I've been through, and hopefully motivate, inspire others to continue to do great things. So I want to start off by asking everybody that's listening a question. I want everybody to go back. Maybe we're in our mid-20s right now, but I want you to think about your life in your mid-20s. Maybe 25 years old, what it looks like now, what you had hoped it would look like. Maybe at that time you were thinking about, maybe I'm going to get out of college, or I went to trades and I've got a great job, and I was making a lot of money and I had a great relationship and people, I just enjoyed being around people, and we were ready to take on the world. When I was 25 years old, I had all that also. But unfortunately, one morning I woke up and I was told I was never going to walk again at the age of 25. Just like that. I woke up and I was told I was never going to walk again. When I was a kid, I loved playing sports. Everything I did was sports. I was on the fields, I was on the courts, I was on the water skiing, playing soccer, basketball, baseball, football, golf, fishing, anything at all. I just love being an athlete. I love being part of a team, love being coached, playing with others, just being part of the team and being part of something bigger than ourselves. By the time I finished high school, I was a third team All-American soccer goalkeeper. I was the third best goalkeeper in the United States my senior year. I am also still the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in the history of my basketball program at my high school. So the 75-year, 80-year history of my high school, I'm still the all-time scorer and rebounder in the history of the school. And I was an all-conference baseball player. I was always on the field. Like I said, I was in the summertime. You could find me on the lakes of Connecticut. That's where I'm from originally. I was a professional water skier. So I just love everything to do with sports. and I picked them up pretty good. I was a star athlete. I was the All-American. I was the most popular kid in school. I was living a dream. When it came time to go to college, I was being recruited by schools all around the United States. They all wanted me to play soccer and basketball for them. I decided to go to United States Military Academy, which is in West Point, New York. Very difficult place to get into, very difficult place to be at. The academic rigors, the military, the discipline, all these incredible things of being a cadet at West Point. I loved it. Unfortunately, my freshman year, when I was 19 years old, my father passed away suddenly. He was driving back from New York to Connecticut, and fortunately, my mother was driving. My father went in the back of the van. He fell asleep, and he woke up. He never woke up. Excuse me. He had a heart attack in his sleep, and he never woke up. And he was gone just like that at 57 years old. My father did everything for me. My father did everything for my family. All the kids in the community. He would build up rec programs, so all the kids in our towns have sports to play, soccer, football, softball, whatever it might be. He and my mother did incredible things. And at 57 years old, he was gone just like that. West Point said to me, Steve, go home for a semester. Take 6 months off. Get out of here. Go home, be with your family, grieve, get counseling, whatever you need to do. Just be with them. Come back in 6 months. We'll act like nothing's ever changed. We'll get back into the flow of things here, and we'll continue on with your education. And I didn't do that because I thought I was tough enough and mature enough and man enough to deal with the loss of my father. Right? I'm Steve Empt. I'm just an athlete. I'm the most popular kid in school. I'm the All-American. I'm okay. We left West Point. I learned of my father's passing on Sunday. I left West Point, came home to Connecticut on Tuesday. We buried my father on Thursday, and I went back to school the following Saturday. I took a week off of school, y'all. A week. Again, this isn't just a normal college. This is West Point. This is 4 hours of sleep at night. This is being a cadet and demanding and incredible. And I took a week off of school. I just lost my father, my best friend, my mentor. At that point in my life, my hero did everything for me, and he was gone. And I took like 5 days off. Unfortunately, I wasn't into it mentally, emotionally. I was there physically, but I wasn't into it. My grades suffered. I had final exams coming up right away. I ended up failing 3 out of my 5 classes. And for the next 2 years, I was on academic probation. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave the academy. My friends, my buddies were all leaving every weekend to go get away and blow off some steam and have some fun. I couldn't do that. I was on academic probation. I had to stay at the academy. And after 2 years, I said to myself, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. I have to make a decision here. So I decided to resign from the academy and come home to Connecticut and be with my family. When I got back to Connecticut, I enrolled at the University of Connecticut to further my education. And one day I was playing intramural basketball, and one of the UConn basketball coaches saw me playing and saw how I was playing, getting knocked down, get back up again right away. Lose the ball, try to make something positive happen. Get dunked on, try to get dunked on somebody else. Just loving the game and playing with a lot of heart. And next thing you know, and I'm getting a phone call from Coach Jim Calhoun, the legendary coach at the University of Connecticut, saying, "Hey, Steve, we got a spot on a team for you this year. If you want to try out, we'd love to have you on a team, get a great education, play basketball for us." Coach, you kidding me? Yeah, I grew up 20 minutes from campus. I dreamt my entire life as a young boy of wearing Connecticut across my chest and playing basketball for the University of Connecticut. So I was very fortunate many, many years ago to play 2 years, 1992 to 1994, for the University of Connecticut basketball. Yes, the back-to-back national champion University of Connecticut Huskies. Uh, these two pictures you see on the screen right here are probably the only two pictures in the history of the world in me in uniform, because in those 2 years, I only played 38.7 seconds of basketball. The NCAA says I played 2 minutes because I got into 2 games, but I don't round that 38.7 seconds up. I don't round it down. I'm very proud of that. I got to play with guys like Ray Allen and Danielle Marshall and Scott Burrell and all these future professional basketball players, and traveling the country and staying in the best hotels and being on TV all the time. Just living the dream, just having a blast, getting a great education, having a great time. I ended up finishing college, and now I'm in my mid-20s, and now I'm 25 years old, and I've got a great job making a lot of money doing something I love. I've got a great girlfriend in my life who's very supportive. We're talking about getting married All right, we're talking about having a house and a family and the white picket fence and the animals, and I'm ready to take on the world and change the world, and everything's going to be great from here on. March 24th of 1995. I was 25 years old. That day started just like every other day. I went to work. My two buddies, Pat and Gwen, were hanging out at work. Hey, it's Thursday. What are we doing tonight? Well, you know what? It is March Madness. UConn's playing in the Sweet 16, the basketball tournament. Let's go out, get a few drinks, have something to eat, watch the games, have a good time. All right, no problem. So I get in my brand new pickup truck. I drive and I meet Pat and Gwen. I get out of my truck. I jump into Gwen's truck and we drive to a local bar. Now, right when I got into this bar, the bartender, who was the owner of the bar, the waitresses, they all recognized me. Hey, that's Steve Empt. That's a former UConn basketball player. UConn's playing on the big screens up here right now. Let's take care of Steve. We're happy he's here. Let's take care of him. Let's help him out. So they come up to us three. Hey, guys, whatever you want. Steve, we're happy you're here. Your buddies, Pat and Gwen, help whatever you want. Food, drinks, anything at all. It's on us. It's complimentary. You're not going to pay a dime. We're happy here. We want you to have a good time. They treated me differently because I was an athlete. Just because I played basketball better than everybody else in the room that night, they put me up on a pedestal and they treated me differently. And I took advantage of it. And that's sad. That was a wrong thing to do. Because everybody that's listening right here, right now, everybody that's online and listening, whatever it might be, we're all great at something. We all have greatness in us. Right? And just because we're great at that one thing doesn't make us any better than the person sitting next to us, in front of us, or we're talking to, or whatnot. We're all great at something. And we got to appreciate that and respect that in everybody. Unfortunately, I didn't respect that night. And one drink led to another, and things got out of hand pretty quick. Unfortunately, I got into a physical altercation with another patron in a bar that night, and I beat him up pretty bad to the point where he needed medical attention. The bar called the police. They called the hospital. Before the police got there, before the paramedics got there to attend to this gentleman, the owner came over to my buddies, Pat and Gwen, get Steve out of here. We don't want you here anymore. You're not welcome here anymore. Get him out. We don't want the negative publicity. We don't want a former UConn basketball player in our establishment causing trouble. We don't want that negative publicity. Get Steve out of here. You're not welcome anymore. Go. We'll take care of this gentleman. We'll get him the medical attention he needs. We'll take care of just get Steve out of here. So Pat and Gwen got me out. We went to Gwen's truck. We drove to my truck. I remember getting into my brand new pickup truck. I remember putting the keys in the ignition and starting to drive down the highway. And that's the last thing I remember. Now, as I'm telling you this, I want you to keep in the back of your minds, all right, what I've been through in my life. I'm arguably the greatest athlete my high school has ever seen. And I will argue with anybody. I'm a West Point cadet. I'm a UConn basketball player. I'm on top of the world. I'm invincible. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do great things. And the last thing I remember is driving down the road. From what I was told, I was traveling about 85 miles an hour when I passed out behind the wheel. And my truck went off the right side of the road, and I hit a ditch. And I started to cartwheel and roll and flip. 75 yards down the road, 3/4 the length of a football field, cartwheeling and rolling and flipping. The truck came to rest on its roof in a ditch. I was found laying next to the truck. I did not have my seatbelt on. Terrible decision. Terrible decision. Tires were blown out. All the metal was gone. Glass was all shattered. 2:00 in the morning, laying on the side of the road in the ditch. The way I was found, a police officer just happened to be driving the other way on the highway, and his light shined off the chrome of my truck. He turned around, he got to the scene. Now, when something like this happens to the human body, a traumatic injury like this, there's something that's called a golden hour. They say 60 minutes. If you receive the proper medical attention from that point of trauma within that first 60-minute window, your chances of survival go up big time. The police officer figured I was in a ditch for about 30 minutes. He called the hospital. Hospital sent Lifestar helicopter. The helicopter got to me in 8 minutes. He attended to me on the ground for 8 minutes, and it took him 8 minutes to get back to the hospital. Do the math. It's 8 times 3 is 24, plus 30 is 54. I'm looking at 6 minutes to live, y'all. 6 minutes to live. Wait a minute. I'm Steve Empt here. I'm the man. I'm invincible. I'm a star athlete. No. 6 minutes to live because of a terrible decision to drink and drive. Got me back to the hospital. I had massive internal bleeding. They cut me open from my chest down to my navel. Massive internal bleeding. I broke the majority of my ribs. Broke my back in 3 places. Had a head injury. I blew up both my knees. I ruptured my spleen. The spleen is the organ inside of your belly, basically, that helps fight off infection. I ruptured it. They took it out. I get sick pretty easy now. And most importantly, I severed my spinal cord. Your backbone is hollow. And inside of your backbone, inside of your spine, is what's called the spinal cord. Basically, a membrane that runs from your brain down to your pelvis, and it serves as a central highway for your whole body. You stub your toe, the signal goes up your spinal cord to your brain, and your brain says, "Hey, you're hurt. You stub your toe." Well, in my case, I severed my spinal cord above my belly button. I cut it in half, and therefore those signals cannot get to my brain, and therefore now I'm paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of my life. Cannot feel my legs. I cannot move my legs. I could stick a knife in my leg right now and I would not feel it. I would bleed out, but I would not feel it. Paralyzed for the rest of my life because of one stupid decision at 25, ready to take on the world. I was in a coma for 2 days, shut down. I was hooked up to a machine that was keeping me alive, that was breathing for me. And the way I came out of my coma was I had this dream. And I remember this dream, it was 30 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was at my old house in Hebron, Connecticut, small town in the center of Connecticut, New England. And it was a spring day and it was warm out, but it was also kind of rainy and misty. And I remember I was in my old bedroom and the window was open. And I remember a cloud of mist came in the window and I leaned forward into that cloud of mist to cool myself off. And something grabbed me and threw me down in the corner of a closet and started spinning me around in a circle real fast. And as that was going on, I saw a beautiful, bright skeleton of a person. Beautiful skeletal features, bright lights, the most calm, serene, peaceful thing I've ever seen in my life. And then all of a sudden, boom, all those lights came together at one point, and I woke up from my coma exactly 2 days after my crash. Now, and I refer to it as a crash. This was not an accident. We'll get to that in a little bit. 2 days after my crash. Now, everybody I've talked to from here to north, south, east, west in our great country, all right, all around the world, basically, I've said the same thing. Now, I'm not a religious person. And if you are, that's beautiful. We're different. That's one of the great things that makes the world so beautiful. We're different. But I'm not religious. I'm more spiritual. But everybody has told me the same thing. That image that I saw is probably my guardian angel, probably my father, saying, "Hey, Steve, your time's not up. You get back down there and do something with this. You messed up. You made a terrible decision to drink and drive. Get back down there and do something. Get out and share your story. Talk to people. Listen to their stories. Meet people. Because, Steve, you will, not you can or possibly or maybe, no, because those words are garbage. You will make a difference in people's lives, Steve. And that's why I'm here today. That's why I present all around the country. I'm so fortunate to be with you all today. I get to travel all around the country and speak to people about my life and what I've done and what's going on. I'm fortunate and blessed. When I woke up from my coma after that dream, I was on a bed that was rotating 45 degrees left to right to keep the fluids in my body moving so I wouldn't get pneumonia and I wouldn't die. I had a respirator in my mouth that was breathing for me so I wouldn't die. My hands were handcuffed to the bed. The bright lights, just like you see on TV, everywhere. I had tubes and wires and hoses sticking out of every part of my body, y'all. The first person I saw when I woke up from my coma was the doctor who performed all the surgeries on me 2 nights prior. And she came into my room and she looked me in the eye. She said, "Stephen, you've been in a bad automobile accident. You're never going to walk again." And she left the room. What? You're never going to walk again. 5 words. The next person came in was my mother. My poor mother. Now, remember, just 5 years prior, she just buried her husband of 37 years. So she's still grieving the loss of her husband. And here I am. I'm the baby of the family. I'm her baby. I'm the youngest of 4. I have 3 older siblings. They're great people. Okay. But when my father was alive, he had a picture of me on his desk, not the other 3. Okay. They didn't go to West Point. They didn't go play basketball at University of Connecticut. They weren't the All-American athlete. They're great people, but I'm her baby. She walked into the room. Now, remember, I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I can't feel anything. But I did so much damage to my body the night of my crash that I'm on so much medication. I'm numb from the neck down. I can't feel a thing. My mother came into the room and she leaned over my lifeless body. And she looked me in the eye. And she said, "Stephen, I love you." And there was tears in her eyes. And one teardrop fell from her eyes and hit me on the cheek and rolled down my face. And believe me, y'all, I felt that. It was the most tense, deep, profound feeling I've ever felt in my life. And she kissed me on the forehead. "I love you," when she walked out. My poor mother What did the hell I put her through for those 2 days when who knows if I was going to wake up? When the waiting room in the hospital was packed with family and friends and loved ones, right? They were overhearing the conversations between the doctors and my family saying, we're not sure if Steve's going to make it through the night. You better start making funeral arrangements. Seeing a priest go into my room to read me my last rites. My poor mother, what did I do? She didn't deserve that. Now the rehab starts. I'm in a hospital for weeks. I go to rehab hospital in Wallingford, Connecticut. Incredible rehab hospital. I'm there and I'm ready to take on the world. I'm gonna kick butt here. I'm gonna get at it because that's who I am. I'm fired up. I'm wired differently. Let's go. Let's do this. Give me this challenge. I'm gonna get out of here. But unfortunately, one day I had a setback, and nurses were carrying me from my bed to my wheelchair, and they dropped me, and I landed right on a tire of my wheelchair, and I bruised my tailbone. Somebody that's in a wheelchair all the time, like I am, and you're sitting most of the time, a bruised tailbone, if not taken care of properly, can kill me. So for 2 days, I had to lay in bed on my side, hoping that my bruise would heal up. And that's when I hit rock bottom. Those were the 2 darkest days of my life. Why? Because I was starting to allow all these bad thoughts coming out of my mind. And the key word is allow, because we're all in charge. We're in charge of our own thoughts, our actions, our beliefs, everything. Nobody else is in charge of us. We're in charge. And I was starting to allow all these negative thoughts to come into my mind. Who's going to take care of me for the rest of my life? Who's going to want me? I'm a vegetable. Who's going to feed me? Who's going to bathe me? Maybe this world's a better place without me in it. And I thought about doing harm to myself. And the next 2 days were hell. People coming in, not doing their job, doing their passion, trying to help me out. The doctors, the nurses, the therapists, the family, the community members coming in, people loving me. And how did I treat them? Throwing stuff at them, swearing at them, yelling at them, cursing at them, screaming at them. Get out. I don't want you. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And I thought about my mom. And if I had done harm to myself and my girlfriend and my family, the impact it would have on them, no, not going to do that. And then something awesome happened. I healed up carefully this time. The nurses were carrying me from my bed to my wheelchair, and they brought me down to a pool, and they put a life jacket on me, and they put me in this chair that on the side of the pool that raises me up, brings me over the water, and slowly lowered me into the water. And as that's my feet get into the water, I can't feel it. And as the water is coming up my legs, I couldn't feel it. I'm thinking to myself, this is weird. I can't feel this. What's going on? The water's, I can't feel. And then it hit my chest, in my hands, and hit my face. And it was like, whew, let's go. Let's do this. And again, I'm not religious. And if you are, that's beautiful. Personally, I'm not, more spiritual. But it's like I was born again right there in the water. I'm like, let's do this. But you know what, Steve? There's a problem. You've been a terrible person the last 2 days. You've been a dark, evil person the last 2 days. You have to make a decision, Steve. Do you want to continue to be that dark, negative, evil person that nobody wants to be around, be a burden on everybody? Or do you want to go back to who you were before? The stud athlete, the life of the party, the public person, the persona, the everything, boom, boom, the loud, let's go. All right, I'm going back to what it was before. But again, I have a decision. I got to stop this. So I have to come to this aha moment. We all have aha moments in our lives. Okay. If you haven't yet, you will, I promise you. Some of us have more than one. One of my aha moments was in that pool as I'm floating around thinking to myself, what am I going to do to change my life? What am I going to do to go back to who I was before? Life is beautiful. I'm lucky to be alive. I can still do great things. Been through so much in my life, just to this point. All my buddies, all my people around me tell me, Steve, you know what? You got to write a book. You got to get out there and you got to do something. You got to write a book. So what do? I write a dang book. I hate writing. I'm a math guy. I love numbers. I taught middle school math for 20 years. I'm a numbers freak. I hate writing. What do? I write a dang book. My book is titled You Decide. A 6-step action plan to becoming a hero of your own life. It is available on Amazon. Shameless plug, I know. All right. You decide a 6-step action plan to becoming a hero of your own life. Okay. We've got so many things going on in our lives and so many people look outside of our own bodies and our own lives to get, inspiration and motivation. No, we all got it inside of us. We do. Okay. My book is half memoirs, some of the stuff you've heard today. The second half is an action plan. The 6 steps. It's simple. Okay, this plan is so simple. I've got comments from all people all around the world thanking me for step 1, step 2, 4, whatever. All right, my story, just because I put it out there. The first D, the word decide is an acronym. The first D is determine that a change in your life is necessary. Okay, that could be a bad situation like me with a crash, a good situation, becoming a Paralympian, whatever it might be. But until we actually decide that a change is necessary, a relationship, a job, whatever it might be, okay, we're living in limbo. Determine that a change is necessary in your life. Okay. The first E, educate. Okay. You got to take pride to be the educated person. I love reading. I love experimenting. I love talking to people. Educate yourself on that problem. To C, create a plan. Big deal. We got goals. We got dreams. I don't care how old we are. We have goals. We have dreams. Write them down. Okay. When I was 44 years old, I had a chance to become a Paralympian. I had 7 goals at 44. And I wrote those 7 goals down and I put them on Post-it notes all over my apartment. It drove my girlfriend nuts. Right? We're watching TV. She's reading my goals. We're making dinner. She's reading my goals. She's in the bathroom on the toilet trying to go to the bathroom. She's reading my goals. Write them down. The more we write them, the more we say them, the more we read them, they will come true. The I, implement your plan. You can have the best plan in the world. Okay, you can have the greatest outline, boom, boom, but if you don't put action behind it, no, it's not going to come to fruition. You got to do it. Immerse yourself in it. The second D, and most important, don't ever give up. Don't listen to people saying you can't do this or you should or no. And surround yourself with great people. Surround yourself with people that are going to push you. Don't surround yourself with yes men or yes women or yes people, whatever. Surround yourself with people that are going to challenge you. All right. They're going to be great and they're going to love you for it. And then the last E, evaluate. Right. It's huge. Every day I look myself in the mirror as I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Was today a good day? Right. And if it was, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to go out. I'm going to get 1% better. I talk a lot in my book about 1%. We're not going to lose 20 pounds in a week, y'all. Okay. We're not going to go from a failing grade to a passing grade in school in one day. It's not going to happen. Okay. But we can get 1% better every day. That's incredible. Second part of that, I look myself in the mirror. Was today a good day? Did I impact people? Did I talk to people? Did I smile at somebody? Did I converse? And if I said no to that, okay, I got to fix it tomorrow to get 1% better. So evaluate your plan. Huge. There are people that come into our lives. This gentleman is Tony. This is a picture of a professional stalker, y'all. Professional picture of he is an incredible stalker. And I want everybody listening, everybody watching, everybody hearing me right now. I want you all to be Tonys. Okay. Now hear me out. No, I don't want you to go out and stalk. I don't want you peering in windows or whatnot. Okay. But this gentleman was minding my own business one day in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, 10 years ago now, the summer of 2014. And this gentleman approached me and he comes up to me and he's got his hair slicked back and he's got the smile on his face. And he looks at me and he's like, excuse me, are you local? And I'm all by myself, just hanging out. I said, no, I'm from Connecticut. I'm like 2.5 hours away. And there was about 10 seconds of silence between us. He's looking at me, smiling with that grin he's got on right there. I'm looking at him like, all right, I'm dead. Like, I'm getting stalked here. I'm literally thinking about rolling off into this shark-infested waters in Massachusetts now to get away from this clown. Finally, I said, do you mind telling me why you asked that? He said, well, I train with the Paralympic curling team here in the Cape. And I saw you pushing up a hill back there. And with your build, I can make you into an Olympian in a year. All right, what the heck's curling? And where do I sign up? I heard the Olympics, being an athlete. Let's go. Um, his wife came around, Mary. We sat and talked to her for a couple hours. Tony is an absolutely incredible human being. He saw me pushing down up the hill. He parked his truck in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, and he walked around that little town for 45 minutes until he found me. That's what I want you all to do. I want you to be Tonys. I want you to get out of your way, meet people. We'd be anywhere in the world. We'd be in Bratislava. We'd be in Sweden, Norway, Scotland, Finland, whatever. He traveled with us on his own dime. He was one of our coaches, okay? But he wasn't paid by the staff. But he would be out there talking to people. And I asked him one day, a long time ago, Tony, why do you do this? Why do you travel the country on your own dime? Why do you take so much care in doing things for all of us, disabled athletes, whatnot? Well, he came from a big Italian family. And when he was young, he had a huge, cousins and all that. He remembers one holiday when he was like 13 or 14 years old. He had one cousin that was confined to a wheelchair because of a severe mental disability. And the rest of the family basically neglected that one cousin. They never included him in anything they did. So he remembers one holiday when he was 13 years old, he and everybody else was out in the yard playing. And he remembered looking up the house. And he remembered seeing that one cousin looking out and laughing and watching everybody else play. And then a couple of weeks later, that cousin died. So Tony, at the ripe, mature man age of 13, as he's being a pallbearer, carrying his cousin into the church, vowed that one day to never, ever go by anybody, go past anybody, go by anybody that looked different, sounded different, acted different without going up and talking with them, trying to communicate with them, and including them in what he was doing. That's what Tony did. That's the way Tony is. Get out of our way, guys. Get out of our phones. We're talking. I do a lot of travel in airports. I'm always making eye contact. All right, greet people. You have no idea what that other person. You talk about some stranger. You see some stranger on the street, in a mall, or something. You have no idea what kind of day they're going through. A simple hello, or a good morning, or have a great day. You might change their life. You might save a life. Right. So let's get out there, get out of our comfort zones. Go be Tonys. I challenge everyone. Be a Tony. Go out there and love life and talk to strangers and meet new people. He changed my life. What did he do for me? He gave me the opportunity. Okay. Obviously, I had to do a lot of stuff on my own. I had to work my tail off. But if it weren't for Tony, right, I would not be a 10-time national champion. I wouldn't have been to 2 Paralympic Games, competed in 8 World Championships. I made the team again. So now we're preparing for Italy in 2026. These 2 pictures are near and dear to my heart. The one on the left is the opening ceremonies in Pyeongchang, South Korea, in front of 40,000 people rolling out, millions of people watching on TV behind the American flag. That's me right there with my hand up. And the one on the right is Beijing. Just a couple of years ago. I'm over on the right side of the screen with both my hands up. Woo, let's go. 60,000 people in attendance, millions of people watching on TV, just because somebody went out of their way to include me in what he was doing. Just because I got stalked into the sport of curling. That's Tony. Incredible human being. I talked before about one of my steps is finding your passion in life and going all in. Burn the boats. I love that. If you don't know what burn the boats means, basically, we're going to go take over this island. We're going to step off the boat, put our feet on the ground, and we're going to burn the boats. Why? Because we can't go back. So we have to make this succeed. Right? So we talk about that. But one thing I want to make sure that we're doing is make sure we're doing this the right way. Okay. Before I went to Pyeongchang, South Korea in 2018, I needed to win a medal. I needed to get this dang little shiny thing around to wear on my neck to validate and justify everything that I've been through, all the sacrifices I made. But then I heard this incredible interview with Lindsey Vonn, one of our greatest skiers of all time, and Mike Tirico. And the quote is there, but she talks about, it's bigger than the Olympics and Paralympics. It's bigger than winning. We all want to win. Yeah, we're all athletes. I'm wired differently than everybody. I understand that. I want to win. But it's more important to go out there and be a great teammate, and be a leader, and have fun, and show all the people in attendance, and show all the people and millions watching on TV that you're a great person and a teammate and a leader. And I wrote this exact quote down, and I put it in my room in the Olympic Village, and I read it probably 47 times a day to make sure that when I went on the ice to curl in front of millions of people for Team USA, I had a smile on my face. I pushed my teammates. I congratulated my opponents. I had fun no matter what was going on. Last year at the World Championships, 2023 up in Canada, the center picture there, I was voted on by 75 of us, the greatest wheelchair curlers in the world, to receive the Sportsmanship Award. That award right there is more important to me than any medal I can put around my neck. When we find our passion, we talked about it a couple times already. When we find our passion, go all in. But let's make sure we do it the right way. Do it with love, do it with passion, do it with caring, do it with respect for others, and have fun doing it. It's important. In my book, I also talk about heroes and mentors. Okay. Again, my title of my book, You Are the Hero of Your Own Life. I'm not your hero. Okay. Your parents, your kids, your dog, your cat, your spouses, your church, whatever. We're all mentors. Yes, there are people out there doing incredible things, the firefighters, the paramedics. Yes, I'm okay with calling them heroes. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we are the hero of our own lives. Everybody else that comes along, they're mentors. I'm a mentor. Some mentors in my life, upper left-hand corner, that's Coach Jim Calhoun, 3-time national champ, Hall of Fame college coach. Next to that, my parents, huge mentors of mine. Bottom left, there's that stalker again, Tony. Okay, it's a picture before heading into the White House. I've met a couple presidents. We're not going to get political now, just saying, I met a couple presidents. Second one from the right, up top, that is a woman by the name of Danielle Umstead. Danielle is completely blind, and she's a downhill skier. Okay, think about that for a second. You want me to close my eyes and go down this hill on skis at 70, 80 miles an hour? No, I'm good, thank you. Her husband is about 10, 20 meters in front of her. They're on a 2-way radio, and he's telling her what's coming up, and he's telling her what to do. I mean, you want to talk about marriage trust issues? Like, he tells her the wrong thing, she's in a hay bale somewhere. Incredible woman, incredible human being. Another person I met in Pyeongchang was a athlete from Canada. He had one arm. He lost an arm and both legs in a crash. And he gets around everywhere on a skateboard. And he's a biathlete, cross country skiing, and rifle shooting with one arm. Like, come on. Multiple gold medals. Danielle, multiple gold medals. And some people are going around complaining about a headache or a toe. Come on. Incredible human beings, mentors. And then the upper right, that is the GOAT, the NBA. No, that is not LeBron James. I do a lot of speaking at high schools around the country, and I always get booed off the stage for that. That is Michael Jordan, the GOAT. I was very fortunate and blessed to meet MJ. I can call him MJ because I met him. And any of you that are listening or watching have seen the documentary The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Came out 2 years ago now. I made a cameo in it. I'm actually in it. Episode 7, about 5 minutes left in the episode, but who's counting, right? Somewhere around there. Incredible human being. This picture was taken on a Saturday night in the Chicago Bulls locker room after a game. So it's about 11 o'clock at night. And what did he teach me that night? He could have gone home to his wife and kids, but he didn't. He chose to hang out with me for half an hour. We talked about, cars, basketball, sports, kids, everything for half an hour. Complete stranger. And what did he teach me? No matter how big you are, and this is Michael Jordan big, you always make time for other people. And he taught me that. And I talk about him in my book. I talk about being a huge mentor of mine. He's not a hero. He's not a friend. My hero when I was growing up was Larry Bird. Basketball star, Boston Celtics. Everything was Larry. But when I was 25 years old and I woke up from my coma and told I was never going to walk again, Larry Bird wasn't going to help me through that. He wasn't going to help me get through it. Wasn't going to help me walk. No. The doctors, the nurses, the therapists, no. They're doing their job. They're passionate. They're helping. But ultimately, it's right here. And we all got it inside of us. We do. Right? We got things going on right now. Talk to people, share your story, get help, whatever it is. I went to counseling once a month for 2 years after my crash. It's not a shame. It's not a scarlet letter. Go out and talk to people. Get help. Life is beautiful. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be spending time with you all great people today in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I'm lucky to be alive. Life is beautiful. All right. So heroes and mentors. A couple more slides. I love this quote. Darren Donnelly. People who achieve the most success in life are not those who somehow find a way to avoid making mistakes or encountering obstacles. No. Mistakes and obstacles are an unavoidable part of life. Most successful people are those who are willing to keep moving forward after making mistakes. They find a way not to avoid life's inevitable obstacles, but to overcome them. Darren Donnelly, Old School Grit. Great book. This is life right here. We're going to make mistakes. Life is going to happen. Good things, bad things. It's not always going to go our way. It's not. But when they don't go our way, what are we going to do? We're going to stay down? No. Life's too valuable. Life's too short. We only got one life to live here. Let's love it no matter where we are in the world. Let's love it. Get out and do some great things. I'm blessed and fortunate to be in the position I'm in. I get to travel the world. And compete for Team USA and wear stuff like this all around, everywhere around the world and compete for Team USA in the sport. I'm lucky to be alive. Life is beautiful, all right? But it's not, I'm going to say this many times, it's not what happens in life. It's what we do with what happens. The great quote. Here we go. It's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens. Okay, that's something we all need to learn to live by. Life's going to happen. This is a picture from Finland 3 years ago now when we won a gold medal. This is my team at the time. On the far left is Pam Wilson, the shorter woman. She is a doctor. Okay, I believe she is the first woman in the history of the United States to get her doctor's degree, whatever it might be called, after being in a wheelchair. Incredible. The second woman there, that is Oyuna. She is from Mongolia originally. She traveled over here about 10 years ago from Mongolia, planning to stay about 5 days to visit family. The second day, she got hit in a car crash, paralyzed from the waist down. She has not been back to Mongolia since. Incredible things. Dave, the guy in the middle. He was driving with his family many, many years ago, and a driver going the wrong way on the highway hit their car head on. Fortunately, everybody was okay. But Dave suffered a spinal cord injury. His voice was like mine. Now he talks like this. He's got a high voice because they crushed his voice box in his crash. Paralyzed. There's me with my hat on, the big smile, and all the way to the right is Matt. Matt was hunting one day, I think 8 feet up in a tree in a deer stand, lost his balance, fell, spinal cord injury, in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. 3 hours, I think, in the woods all by himself. He could have died. Right? It's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. Life is beautiful. We're lucky to be alive. Okay. This last slide here that I have is I always put this up here. This is my contact information. And I tell everybody I speak to, whether in person or virtual, like we're doing right here, if there's something going on in your life right now and you feel you don't have nobody to talk to, I think you're wrong. Okay. We're not correct in saying that. But if you feel that way, give me a call, give me a text. All right. Follow me on social media, shoot me an email. Every time I present to high schools, I get dozens of texts, emails. Half of them are thanking me. All right. Thank you so much for coming to school. Thank you so much for speaking at my work today, yada, yada. The other half is, Steve, I got a drinking problem. What can I do? All right. I'm in a bad relationship. What can I do? I'm stuck in my life. What can I do? First of all, I'm not a professional. Okay. I will tell you to go get professional help, but I'm here to listen. Okay. Life is beautiful and things are going to happen. And adversity is an opportunity to succeed. Life is good. Okay. We got to be careful. We got to look out for ourselves. We got to look out for each other. Okay. I'm going to leave one last little thing right here. I want you all to, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now and go back to the full. I want you to all go through a little little assignment right here. I want everybody to think about sometime when we were out, maybe at a park or amusement park or something like that, where there's a bunch of people. And I want you to, picture everybody having a great time. Maybe, we're at a park. Maybe we're at a cookout, a family. Everybody's having a blast. There's kids running around, right? And there's people laughing and there's games going on. Maybe there's basketball games, kickball. I don't know. Everybody's having a great day. The sun's shining and the music playing and the food's cooking. Everybody's having a great time. Okay, now I want you to sit. Now I want you to imagine seeing somebody that's sitting there in a wheelchair watching it all and not really being able to participate because it's tough to get out in the grass. It's tough, to get out there and chase people. Imagine that. That's me, right? That's me for the rest of my life because I made a terrible decision, right, to drink and drive. One night changed my life. But it's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. I could have very easily given up. I was in the hospital. I was ready to go. Those 2 days, I was ready to check out. I was ready to go. But no, life is beautiful. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to do some great things. And now, what do I get to do? Half my year, I get to travel the world and compete for Team USA, right? And try to go out there and win some medals and make impact on the sport and change lives and do great things for the Team USA. And the other half of my year is traveling the country and giving presentations like this to basically anybody that will listen. This is important because life is beautiful and life goes on. It's not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. And I want you all to remember that. I want to thank everybody for being here today, everybody listening live, everybody online, whatever it might be. I love spending time with you all. I want to open it up right now to questions. If there's anything at all, everybody wants to jump on and ask a question. If you want to type it in the message box, that would be great too. Fire away. I'd love to answer some questions if anybody has some.
Wow, Steve, thank you so much for sharing your story. Your passion truly just shines through, and you are such a great mentor. So thank you. I'll just give it a second for, people to put their questions in the box, but I'll kick it off here with a quick question, Steve. We always like to ask this at DreamBank, but looking ahead, what are your future goals and aspirations, both in sports or just other areas of your life?
The speaking part of it is to continue to travel. Last year, I spoke at about 55 high schools all around the country. I will not my goal is to double that and get in front of as many people as possible and share my story. I love doing this. I love speaking to anybody. But you put me on a stage in front of 750 juniors and seniors in high school, and I'm in my element. I absolutely love it. The other half of that is continue with the sport. It was just announced today. I've known for a little bit, but it was just announced today that the 2034 Winter Olympics and Paralympics will be held in Salt Lake City, Utah. So when I started this journey 3 years ago, or excuse me, 10 years ago, my goal was to play in 3 games, compete in 3 games. That will make me the most decorated Paralympic wheelchair curler in the history of our country. Now that 34 came along and it's in the US, I might have to hang on for another 10 years and get 5 games in. So just still compete for our country and just have fun and leave a legacy behind of people that, I impacted and I cared about.
Okay, it looks like Kathy has a question. The name of your book.
Yep. So the name of my book is You Decide, a six-step action plan to becoming a hero of your own life. There's my copy right there. It's on Amazon. If you just put in You Decide and my name, my last name is EMT. I know it is emergency medical technician. I'm not a doctor. I play one on the ice, but I'm not a doctor. So yeah, You Decide and put in my name on Amazon. It should pop up. And thank you. Again, you'll hear some of the same stuff, some others, just just getting out and impacting people. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what we need to do. And like I said, get our heads out of our phones. Get out and talk to people, make eye contact, and smile, and just love life. Love life. Let's go.
Okay, great. It looks like we're running over a little bit, so I'm just going to wrap it up with this one last question. From Lori, is there one thing that you do to stop the negative voice that may creep into your head?
I get out and I exercise. I
Mhm.
absolutely I've lived both lives. When I was a college athlete, I was not taking care of my body. I was eating like crap. I was drinking alcohol a lot. I was not taking my body. Now I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. I meditate. I work out. I drink at least a gallon of water a day. I get 7 hours of sleep at night. And if it really gets bad, I put on my workout clothes, which I do every day anyways. But I get out and I get a couple miles in. I just get out in nature, get fresh air, put a little music on, just kind of reset the day. Okay, after that, all the endorphins are firing, and this is just bring it on. Let's whether it's 2 miles or 20 miles. I love working out. I love getting out, just get out in nature and enjoy. We have a beautiful world, and it's not like this in every place of the world. I've been places in the world where people can't go outside during the day, and we live in a beautiful world, and get out there, enjoy it, and get some fresh air, and just kind of reset. So personally, that's what I like to do.
I love that. So motivating. All right, I will go ahead and wrap it up. But Steve, thank you again so much for sharing your time, resources, and story with us today. Your journey is truly so emotional and inspiring. But to everyone who tuned in, we're grateful for your participation. It's through your engagement that we continue to learn, grow, and chase our dreams together. Remember, you can discover more about our upcoming Dream